This is PrepTest 159, Section 2, Passage 3. This is a science passage about two competing explanations for why the universe is expanding faster than expected. The difficulty level, I would say overall, is fairly low to medium. The structure is pretty straightforward, but there is a trap built into the last paragraph that catches a lot of students. This is a classic two-theory passage. The author presents both theories, spends way more time on one, and then quietly leans towards the other. If you don't catch their lean, you're going to get the attitude question wrong. Now, the most important paragraph here is the last one. It is the shortest, but it's where the author actually shows you what they think, and we're going to get there. Paragraph 1 is just background. Don't overthink it. Scientists expected the universe's expansion to be slowing down. They measured it, but it's actually speeding up. That is the surprise. And that's the whole reason the rest of the passage exists. You want to move through this at a pretty normal speed. But then catch the last sentence. It tells you two explanations are coming and says both of them challenge how we currently understand the universe. That one sentence is a map for the entire passage. You've got two theories, both of them radical. File that away and keep going. Paragraph 2 gives you theory number 1, dark energy. And the passage tells you right away, this is the more popular theory. Dark energy is basically the idea that space itself has a built-in pressure pushing it apart. And then you get a bunch of supporting detail. Studies of the Big Bang afterglow, Einstein's cosmological constant from 1917, how he dropped the idea, but now it might matter again. And here's what you've got to understand about all that detail. Its job is to make dark energy sound credible. History, evidence, mainstream acceptance, that is the function. Now, don't just memorize the specifics on your first read, just know they're there so you can come back for them if a question asks. Now, paragraph 3 is where things get interesting, and it's where a lot of students lose the thread. It starts by offering an explanation for where dark energy actually comes from. Virtual particles, vacuum energy, quantum mechanics stuff. Sounds like it's building the case even stronger, but then the passage pulls out the rug. There is a large discrepancy between how much vacuum energy the math predicts and how much you'd actually need to explain the acceleration. So the paragraph does something sneaky. It sets up a source for dark energy and then tells you that source does not produce the right numbers. If you read paragraph 3 as support for dark energy, you only read half of it. The second half is a problem the theory cannot solve yet. Now, paragraph 4. This is the shortest paragraph and you need to slow way down here. Theory 2 shows up. Forget dark energy entirely. This theory says gravity itself stops working the way Einstein predicted once you get to really huge distances, like billions of light years. The passage calls this quite radical. So, you might expect the author to be skeptical, but then watch what happens in the last two sentences. The author says this radical change to gravity would have effects you could actually test in our own solar system. And then comes the word advantage. The author says this testability might be an advantage over dark energy. And that's it. That's where the author tips their hand. They're not saying theory 2 is correct. They're saying it has something theory 1 doesn't. You can check it. And they spent the previous paragraph telling you theory 1 has a math problem it can't fix. If you put those two things together, you've got a subtle but real lean toward theory 2. Now here is the key move. The passage gives dark energy 2 full paragraphs. Theory 2 gets a handful of sentences, and the author still leans toward theory 2 at the end. The test is going to exploit that mismatch. The wrong answers on a main point or attitude question will say the author favors dark energy because it's more established or better supported. And that feels right if you're going by word count, but word count is not endorsement. The only language they use to evaluate in the whole passage, the word advantage, points at theory 2. Now, most students get tripped up right there. They confuse description with support. The author describes dark energy in detail. But that doesn't mean the author thinks it's the better theory. You've got to separate how much space a view gets from how the author actually talks about it. Now, before you get to the questions, check yourself on 3 things. 1, what specific problem does paragraph 3 raise for the dark energy theory? 2, why does the author use the word advantage for theory 2 and not theory 1? And 3, if someone told you the author supports dark energy because it gets more coverage in the passage, could you explain why that's wrong?